Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is our training on the 2026 YHDP NOFO, everything your organization needs to know to apply to the Maryland Balance of States YHDP funding competition. HUD released the combined FY24, FY25 YHDP NOFO, and we're releasing our local RFP on July 15th, 2026, with applications due July 31st at 8 p.m. YHDP funds housing and supportive services for youth 24 and under experiencing homelessness. HUD expects to select 24 to 50 communities nationally. DHCD, as our collaborative applicant, submits our community's priority listing to HUD. This RFP is how your organization applies to be a part of that list. Applying has two parts. First, complete our RFP fill-out form. That's where you'll describe your project, your services, and your budget. Second, submit a matching new project application in HUD's eSNAP system. Most of your RFP answers carry over directly. Attach your required documents, your board list, any recent audits, SAM.gov registration, and Secretary of State screenshots to your RFP response. If you have questions at any time, you can submit a ticket through our Zendesk help desk and select YHDP. And for background, the RFP document, eSNAP's guidance, and HUD's own guidance, you can see all that on our funding page on our website for our YHDP application. They're linked on this slide and again at the end of the training. There are two things to take care of in eSNAP specifically. If your organization hasn't registered yet, you'll do that first. Registration has to happen prior to submitting your new application, your new project application. So please don't wait to do this part. I've linked a short video walkthrough on getting into eSNAPs along with HUD's eSNAPs 101 and 201 toolkits if you want some more detailed guidance. And again, our Zendesk help desk is there for you to provide some TA. You can submit a ticket. HUD built this competition around 4 goals: preventing and ending youth homelessness, facilitating self-sufficiency, innovating and expanding capacity, and reducing trauma while providing safety. So keep these in mind because they're the lens HUD is going to use to score every application. For our CoC, HUD estimates about $5.9 million in available YHCP funding. The number is calculated from 2 factors. It's the number of youth aged 12 to 24 living in poverty in our area and the 2-bedroom FMR for our geographic area. This figure is still subject to change pending HUD's official notification. There are 2 types of eligible projects under this NOFO: transitional housing and supportive services only. Transitional housing offers time limited up to 24 months or 36 months with HUD approval paired with supportive services. It can include sober living, subpopulation specific housing for youth, and single room occupancy units. YHCP also allows recipients to continue services up to 24 months or in some cases 36 months after the participant's exit, as long as you describe your plan for determining ongoing need. YHDP also allows crisis residential transitional housing, a short-term, low-barrier, congregate model built around rapid family engagement, case management, and emergency triage. And transitional housing projects may use single-room occupancy units with FMR and utility costs calculated at 75% of the 0-bedroom rate. Supportive services only projects provide services to people your organization isn't also housing. There are 4 SSO models. The first is street outreach, engaging people living outside or in places not meant for human habitation, connecting them to shelter, housing, and basic necessities. The second is housing project or structure specific, services tied to a specific building as long as you're not also the housing provider or the project spans multiple components or operates inside an emergency shelter. The third SSO model is standalone supportive services. This is like legal services, health and hygiene services, childcare, job training. The fourth is host homes and kinship care, where a family houses a youth in their own home. HUD recognizes this as costs for host families so applicants can propose financial assistance. YHDP gives recipients some flexibility that goes beyond standard CoC rules with notice to HUD SNAP's office. You can use admin funds to involve youth with lived experience, employ youth who are receiving your services, cover moving expenses more than once, pay up to $500 a month to host families, and pay above FMR when it's consistent with HUD's reasonable rent standards. YHDP funds can also cover a long list of participant needs when necessary to obtain or keep housing. Security deposits up to 2 months rent, damage costs for up to 2 months rent, cleaning supplies, up to $500 in housing startup goods, cell phone service, internet, up to 6 months of rent and utility arrears, and up to 3 months of ongoing utilities. There's some more full details on this slide and in the RFP. Beyond that, YHDP funds can cover gas and mileage for a participant's personal vehicle to reach medical care, work, or childcare, legal fees including court costs and bail and past driving fines, insurance, and registration when a vehicle is necessary for those same purposes. Recipients can also pay owner incentive and retention payments for transitional housing units up to 3 times the monthly rent when it results in a participant being housed. Transitional housing projects can also use SRO units calculated the same way as before, and rental assistance can be administered by nonprofits, so it does not have the same limitations that the CoC funded TH does in terms of rental assistance must be administered by a government body or PHA. There's 2 more important flexibilities. Youth 24 and under don't need third-party documentation to prove they meet the homeless definition, and any youth-serving provider can serve unaccompanied youth or youth-headed families living in unsafe situations, even without documentation like that. So the risk review, before making any award, HUD reviews each applicant's likelihood of success. That includes past performance, how you've managed federal awards in the past, your audit history, whether you've met past deadlines and used matching funds as promised, any debarments, suspensions, or misuse of federal funds. HUD also looks at your organizational health, so financial stability, management systems and capacity, and your results, meaning your track record of promoting self-sufficiency, the number of people you serve, and any history of illegal discrimination or facilitating illicit drug use for this competition. HUD can use this review alone to reject, condition, or reduce an award. That is what they have said. Every application must clear threshold review to be considered. 3 baseline requirements are included in this. Your organization must be an eligible applicant. You need a valid UEI number, and you need an active SAM.gov registration. HUD is not going to issue an award unless that's been verified. HUD also reviews project eligibility on a pass-fail basis. You'll need to show your organization meets eligible applicant criteria, that you have the financial and management capacity to run the project and administer federal funds, that the population you'll serve meets the definition of eligible program participants. You'll also need to show your project is cost-effective for the type of activity and that you'll participate in HMIS, with the exception of a victim service provider must use a comparable database, and that your project incorporates both positive youth development and trauma-informed care. Finally, housing and SSO projects need to show they're likely to achieve at least one of HUD's 4 youth component outcomes: safe and stable housing, social and emotional well-being, education or employment, and permanent connections, meaning a youth has at least one trusted adult in their life. Beyond threshold, HUD scores project quality. Every project needs satisfactory capacity and performance on any existing CoC grants, timely drawdowns, timely resolution of monitoring findings, and a credible plan to meet HUD's timeliness standards. Transitional housing projects are scored on 6 criteria: things like whether your housing and services fit participant needs, whether you coordinate with mainstream programs, whether 100% of your proposed participants meet eligibility. You will need at least 4 of these 6 points to pass. SSO projects are scored on 3 similar criteria and need at least 2 of 3 points to pass, service, fit, a clear path to help youth exit homelessness quickly, and full participant eligibility. Eligible applicants include any state, county, city governments, public higher ed institution, tribal government and organization, public housing authority, nonprofit with 501c3 status, and faith-based organizations. Individuals and for-profit entities are not eligible and cannot apply, and applicants from ineligible organizations will not be reviewed at all. One certification to flag for this competition is your organization must certify that it will not operate drug injection or safe drug use consumption sites, distribute drug paraphernalia, or permit illegal drug use on your property. So this is all included under the banner of harm reduction, just something to keep in mind. If your organization doesn't currently hold other active CoC or YHDP grants, you are exempted from the usual 25% match requirement. And that exemption is expected to carry through your first 2 renewals, assuming further appropriations allow this. Locally, DHCD serves as our collaborative applicant. We review and rank every new project application, and ranked projects go to our CoC board for final review. Applications are scored on your RFP responses, go through a threshold review, and incomplete or late applications are not going to be considered. One more note is this RFP is subject to change pending additional updates from HUD. A few housekeeping things. Your RFP questions are going to mirror the eSNAPS application, at least to the best of our ability with what we're able to see. So you'll be able to reuse your answers there. Our region is not designated rural, so rural costs are not going to apply. For youth safety, registered sex offenders and people with violent criminal records cannot live in site-based housing with youth under 18, except in justice system re-entry programs. A few tips on the form itself. Applications are due July 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern. And since you're going to log in with your email to the fill out platform, your progress is going to be saved automatically. So you can step away and pick up where you left off. If you want to prepare everything ahead of time, you can see a copy of the RFP just in a PDF form on our website. After you hit submit and fill out, you'll land on a confirmation page. So be sure to enter your email there so that that is the only way to get a copy of your response. If you have any technical issues, just submit a ticket through the Zendesk Help Desk and select YHGP in the drop-down menu. And you must complete 1 RFP per project application. So if you have 2 projects, you need to submit 2 RFPs, just for example. So before you start, it's a good idea to gather your documents. You're going to need your board of directors and senior leadership list, your most recent audit, your SAM.gov registration screenshot, and for nonprofits, your Secretary of State registration and charity registration verification. And remember, our YHDP webpage is everything else you'll need. I'm going to link that in the description of this video. It will be linked on the slides. And also on there, we have all the eSNAPS guidance, RFP, HUD's guidance, and another link again to the Zendesk Help Desk. So thank you for taking the time to go through this training, and thank you for the work that you're doing for youth experiencing homelessness. We're looking forward to reviewing your application. And again, please see the links on our website and feel free to reach out to us via the help desk at any point if you need time to speak with any of us.